Strap on your backpack, because it's time to go out into the world to explore new cultures and to meet new interesting people. It is however not always that those secret paradise getaways turn out as expected. I used to believe that traveling was the ultimate experience of freedom.
Okay.
But because of today's movies, I now spend all my summer vacations at home in the safety of my apartment. Today's top 10 is about those vacations that turn into living nightmares. Whether it's because of wildlife threats like sharks and bears, or because of accidents or unfriendly locals.
So you don't really shoot kangaroos, do you?
Now, look, I'm doing people a service, taking out a few roos. They're everywhere out here now. Like tourists.
Without further ado, here's my top 10 favorite travel horror movies. What makes these movies so awesome are the exotic locations, the unpredictable locals, and that feeling of helplessness you get when you get in trouble far, far away from home. Number 10 is Extortion. This movie made me afraid of renting boats from the locals to go exploring on my own.
Where'd you find this thing?
Well, they didn't have any jet skis, but the good thing is this is safer and we're all together.
When a family is vacationing in the Caribbean, they decide to go on a boat ride to a remote island. And that turns out to be a horrible idea, as their boat breaks down, and now they're stuck in paradise without food and water.
How long can we last without water?
After 2 days of fighting to survive, two cold-hearted fishermen come to their rescue, sort of, as they want money for their efforts. As they argue, if you can spend $10,000 on a vacation, you can spend $1 million on your family, right?
How much is your family's life worth?
The father finds himself at the mercy of these guys, while he desperately attempts to gather funds and to save his wife and son. But it is not so easy to run around corners with these fishermen.
You think I'm stupid? No.
The movie is tense, but our hero has to go through a bit too many challenges to make the movie believable. But it is still an enjoyable watch. Number 9 is And Soon the Darkness.
Oh my god, look at this little town. How cute is this?
A movie that teaches us 2 important lessons. 1, never go to South America. And 2, though it's cool to go exploring, never ever split up from your friends while on vacation.
Nosotros tenemos you have a reservation? He's speaking.
Yes.
We follow 2 American girls on a biking trip near the border from Argentina to Peru. And all the creepy stares from the locals should make them turn around immediately. But they don't realize until it's too late.
You are not traveling alone, are you?
On the last night of their trip, the girls go out for drinks.
We didn't order these. Para esos chicos.
And Carl Urban gives them some pretty great advice.
You should stick close to your friend.
But the girls don't follow it, and they even split up due to a disagreement. And now Stephanie is all alone in a country where she doesn't speak the language well, and where she doesn't know who to trust, and neither do you.
You follow me here?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you're all right.
Number 8 is Deliverance. Progress is about to take down a beautiful piece of nature. But before it does so, Lewis and the city boys head out for a canoeing trip in the dangerous American backcountry.
Talk about genetic deficiencies.
The movie is especially famous for its scene with the dueling banjos. But it is its slow and tense build-up and the gradual travel deeper and deeper into redneck territory that makes it scary. Far away from civilization, any small accident can render you helpless with no one to call for help. But the badass Burt Reynolds does his best to keep the situation under control.
Yeah, but why do you go on these trips with me?
You know, sometimes I wonder about that.
However, it's not enough when you are up against rapid rivers and unwelcoming locals. The movie may be old, but it has aged gracefully.
You did better than that. Come on, squeal. Squeal.
Number 7 is 47 Meters Down, a movie where two sisters are vacationing in Mexico. The one sister has just been dumped by her boyfriend because she's too boring, so she needs to prove him wrong. And is there any better way to prove him wrong than to go diving with sharks? I think not.
Kate, I don't know about this.
It'll be fun, I promise.
Don't worry about the safety. It's just like an underwater zoo.
It's like you're going to the zoo, except you're in the cage.
Yeah, and underwater.
Well, that's just until the chain breaks and the girls get stuck 47 meters down with a bunch of hungry sharks.
It's just so cool. I can stay down here forever.
The movie is tense and heart-pounding, and as the girls have less than 1 hour of oxygen left, it's also a race against time to get back up to the surface without the great white sharks eating you and without you getting the diving sickness. Number 6 is The Ruins. Yet another group of friends have ventured south of the American border, and this time it is to Mexico. Here they meet a German guy who invites them to experience a remote archaeological dig site in the jungle.
Apparently it's not even in the guidebooks. VIP only.
Sounds pretty cool, right? So they pay a local to take them there, and they go despite his warnings.
How much are your drivers here?
No. This place, no good.
Next they hike through the jungle towards the ruins, and it seems the path has been covered up. Maybe it's yet another warning telling them to turn back, but they don't. When they finally reach the ruins, they're really impressive. But before the first picture is taken, Mayans show up and are super aggressive. And when one of the guys touches the leaves growing on the ruins, he's taken down. It seems something evil lives among the ruins, and now the group is isolated on the Mayan temple and are not allowed to leave. It is a tense and nasty fight for survival. Number 5 is A Perfect Getaway. A young and adventurous couple are celebrating their honeymoon by backpacking in Hawaii. They believe they've found paradise. But soon they find out it's actually hell. As another newlywed couple has just been murdered on one of the islands, and the killers are still on the loose.
These two have graduated to the official crazy category, you know that, right?
When hiking the remote trails of Hawaii, far from civilization, everyone starts to look like a suspect, and it is impossible to know who to trust.
Outstanding.
The movie likes to break the fourth wall with suggestions and twists, and I think it works rather well.
Well, I'm gonna leave you with one last pearl of wisdom.
Get a new agent?
You get a new story.
Though the movie is a bit predictable, it is beautifully filmed, well acted, and I really enjoyed the dialogue and pacing of the movie.
Alright, we got macaroni and cheese with real imitation cheese.
I especially love Timothy Olyphant as a likable yet suspicious badass.
Outstanding.
Number 4 is Hostel. Many think that hostels are cheap, cool places to stay while traveling and to meet other interesting backpackers. But it's not! Especially in Eastern Europe.
These girls I met at this one hostel in Slovakia, just outside Bratislava. The girls there are so hot, you cannot believe it.
Their hot, friendly girls lure you in with their charms and nudity.
The room is yours. We are going to the spa. Come.
Just to have you kidnapped and sold to insane rich people who torture and kill people just for thrills.
How is it in there?
Be careful.
Why is that?
You could spend all your money.
The movie was controversial when it came out, and to this day it's one of the most influential movies within the genre. Many have tried to reduce the movie to torture porn, but I think it's much more than that.
How'd you do it? I mean, did you do it real slow? Or did you just
get it over with right away, because that's why I asked for the fucking gun.
Number 3 is Eden Lake. This disturbing and brutal movie is not for the weak-hearted. We follow a young couple as they head out for a romantic weekend at a remote lake where Stephen is planning to propose. The lake is situated in the countryside of the UK, where people live by their own rules, and where it's still considered okay to smack misbehaving kids.
That child needs a good...
When Steve and Jenny finally arrive at the lake, their peace is quickly shattered when a gang of obnoxious kids decide to create their camp right next to the couple. Steve confronts them to have them turn down their music, but they will have none of that.
So guys, do us a favor and turn the music down.
On air, mate.
Turn your sounds down, please.
On air, mate.
This is only the beginning of their tyranny that escalates into several gory and bloody encounters. The movie is frighteningly realistic, and it is the only horror movie I have ever watched where the kids are actually menacing, and especially the leader of the gang is completely mad.
Listen, I don't care what you're up to here. I just want my car back.
It's not us, mate.
And the parents are even worse.
Well, they punctured my back tire. I just thought parents might want to know.
Not my kids.
Number 2 is Touristas. We follow a group of young backpackers as they travel by bus across the remote and rural areas of Brazil to get that authentic feeling.
Would you please slow the fuck down?
Jesus Christ, would you relax? You're such a tourist.
Unfortunately for them, their bus driver isn't the best at keeping the bus on the road. While waiting for a new bus to arrive, they meet some cool people.
You got a boyfriend in Australia?
No, not to say that.
And they find a secret and beautiful beach to hang out and party at. Come to think of it, everything in this movie is beautiful, from the girls to the nature. The movie was directed by John Stockwell, a master of nature photography. And I don't care what the critics think, I love this movie. The plot feeds off the urban legend about travelers being drugged and kidnapped and having their organs harvested. And as the story goes, well, to a start, it's only their belongings that are stolen. The movie always brings me back to my backpacking adventures from back when I was naive and believed traveling was safe. But after watching all these movies, I know better now. Before I get to the first place, I have a few honorable mentions. We have Spring, which is about an American's travel to Italy, where he sparks up a dark and twisted romance. We have The Breed, in which a group of young people take a break from civilization on a remote island inhabited by aggressive dogs. We have Cabin Fever, where a group of college graduates are infected by a flesh-eating bacteria in their vacation home. We have Timber Falls, where a couple go hiking in a state park inhabited by deranged religious locals who do not like skinny dipping, sex and swearing. Number 1 is The Descent, which teaches us that one should not go exploring unknown cave systems when on adventure vacations. On their yearly vacation, a group of girls decide to do just that. Or well, one of them decides to on the behalf of everyone else.
Come on, Rebecca, I didn't know this was gonna happen. This is exactly what we believe in. We've always said if there's no risk, what's the point?
Of course, the girls get walled in and no one is coming to their rescue. So these strong girls have to find their own way out before they run out of food and batteries. And if that isn't enough, they're not alone. The movie is beautifully filmed, it's tense, claustrophobic, scary, and a bloody good time. In conclusion, just don't go traveling at all. And should you be so dumb to go, then don't be authentic and don't mingle with the locals. Just stick with the really touristy stuff. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and I will catch you later.